This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Hey all, I'm Jamie Lynn Sigler, a mom, actor, and advocate. I know how overwhelming it can be trying to decide which treatment is right for you. I've been there. But you should know you're not alone. You can do this. Start with some research, talk to the community, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. You might find results that speak for themselves. That's how I landed on Kesimpta. Ask your doctor if Kesimpta, ofatumumab, could be right for you. You can check out the details at kesimpta.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. Hello, hi there, ho there, hello there. Welcome to Bois, King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Rusty.
Rusty, it is Friday, and we do a That Ain't Right Friday. Today, we are going to talk about something to do with the new revival of the show. And it's something that does have me a bit concerned about the show. When we saw it in Austin, I mentioned something about it. The new animation style, it is a little different. I think they call it flash animation.
Yeah, and for everybody that's watching right now live, actually, if you go down to the YouTube chat and you click on the link I posted just now, cartoonbrew.com, King of the Hill Do's and Don'ts, that is a animator's guide to the original 13 seasons, and that gives us kind of like a idea of what they were looking for on the hand-drawn side of things, transitioning into this new season, which Mike is talking about. That's flash animated. Evil Ringo, hello.
This
Evil
comes
Ringo.
from an article that was posted on ScreenRant.com by Zach Bowen. It was published June 19th, 2025. The title of it is King of the Hill's new animation style has me concerned about the revival. Yes, I was getting to that, Black Ant. I realize it's not actual Flash, but that's what people call it now for some
it's
reason.
not really Flash.
It kind of feels like they're made out of it feels like paper dolls almost to
Toon
me. It's
Boom
what it
is
kind of
the name
looks
of the
like.
deal.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of stuff with it because it's cheaper. So what it is for anybody that doesn't know how TV used to work, which I feel like most people that watch our show, we've discussed it before, so unless you're a new listener. So what used to happen with TV is all the artists in America would draw it all up. They would draw everything. They would have it all ready to go, whatever edits needed to be made to it. And then they would send in boxes the scene for scene. So, like, you're talking about a room full of boxes that would have to be shipped all the way to South Korea specifically is where a lot of these places were outsourced to. And then they would put it all together and compile it and give you an animated show that you could then now take the film and put the film in a camera and record a show and air it out to people. So it's different. It's very different from now because now you've got John Fountain, one of the guys I did a podcast with, animator, the way that he kind of does his animation stuff now and the group that he's got together, the indie side of things is easier now. So back in those days, it was really hard to do indie animation because for you to have it compiled and put together and everything, there wasn't really anybody doing it in the United States. And if you were getting it done in the United States, it was probably like at a premium because they were, like I said, they outsourced it. They shipped everything over to Southeast Asia, and they did the final post stuff and then sent it to the United States. But now we have this I'm not against the animation style because it's about the story being told.
Yeah, absolutely.
The medium is important, but the medium is like a small part of the storytelling part. If the story is able to be told and it's a good story, I feel like that part of it doesn't matter. It's just like stop motion animation and stuff like that.
Hey,
and
Evil,
how long it takes.
I got a question. Evil Ringo.
He's in Waco.
Is that based on a Young Fresh Fellows song? Your name? I would like to know that. So yeah, it kind of starts out and it tells you about the upcoming new series, and it says hand drawn animation is a thing of the past. The show looks completely different. At face value, it looks great. The character models have been updated to reflect the time, although female members, and I did notice this, female members seem to have aged a lot more than the male ones. The new intro makes it clear they're going to be tackling a bunch of different things that happened, like COVID. And the animation looks, it calls it jarring in here. And that is the way I felt when I saw it the first time. I was like, oh, that is absolutely different than the way it used to look. Says in a clip released by Hulu, Hank is seen admiring George W. Bush Museum. Interestingly, Hank previously met Bush in a season 5, episode 1, Perils of Polling, where he's got the weak handshake. What makes the footage stand out is how obviously the show is rendered with computer animation. When the series premiered in 1997, everything was done with hand-drawn animation. Unfortunately, that time is long past, and animation is created digitally now, which is a complaint that Hank might even make. That's a good point. Given how long King of the Hill originally ran, the series did transition away from cell animation in later seasons. Even with that change, the series still looked mostly consistent. With the revival, the new animation looks shocking. I agree. He says, no, it's just based on that Stop Sending Me fan mail Ringo Starr. Oh, okay. All right. Check out My Friend Ringo, the song by Young Fresh Fellows, Seattle band. Given how long King of the Hill originally ran, it went from cell animation, still looked consistent. With revival, the new animation looks shocking. The characters don't appear to exist in the same space together, and it pulls the viewer immediately out of the scene. I agree with that. It says the new animation style clashes with nostalgia. It could take time for viewers to adjust. Animation fans will likely lament the change in style. Digital animation is ultimately cheaper and faster, so the direction of the series can't really be faulted. It's just how things are done now. However, it could be done better. With what has been released, the animation looks choppy. Returning to King of the Hill should feel like revisiting something nostalgic, especially as the world has changed with the characters. I want to see how the residents of Arlen have grown in their intervening years, but the animation is deeply distracting. Now that sounds.
I think that's over the top.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's
deeply
a lot.
Distracting.
Well, it's a lot,
a lot of the language that was used in that is definitely over the top and excessive. I've read a lot of bitching about it on Reddit and stuff. People complaining about the animation style, but again, I'll argue. I watch whatever. Mike, you watch whatever.
Well, but again, at the end
there's
here,
so many things that you could complain about, and the things that like the weird the weird indie art films and stuff that there's so many things I could complain about the film, but it's not necessarily about all the pieces of the puzzle. It's about the puzzle when it's all put together.
It's just jarring, though. And I think that's a good word for it because it's so different from the way it looked the last time we saw it.
And that's the only jarring thing I find about it is that we're now faced with a different animation style that we're used to seeing our favorite characters in. Mm-hmm. That's what's jarring, I feel like. I really don't think that this animation style is anything new to any eyes that are watching television nowadays. Anybody that's watched animation since this went off the air, they started doing all the computer stuff like heavy when this went off the air. Before this went off the air, you know what I mean? Like
all I was going to say, though,
is 8
is
years before this show went off the air.
Had you given me
digital.
some warning, I probably would have been cool with it. But to just throw it up there and expect me to think it's the same thing that it was, that puts me off a little bit. But the end of this article,
I don't think they do it. I don't think they're throwing it up there with the pretense of people,
they know
this
it looks
is gonna
different.
They know it's going to be.
They know it looks different.
And I think that's a part of it. They're telling a new story, new faces, new look, same guys.
Maybe.
I feel like that's what it is, really.
Okay.
And not only that, it's 2025, so it's going to be different.
Let me read the end of this. It says, I have faith in the writing of the show, and the comedy will hopefully be on the same level as it was before. The series won't be a replica of what happened in the 90s, and it shouldn't be. The response to the show should be based on the quality of the material, but unfortunately, the budget behind the animation could bring it down. Viewers may be able to settle into the change, but it remains to be seen how King of the Hill will be received once it reaches streaming. Yeah. And I agree. Like I say, sitting in that theater in Austin, when we first saw that clip, I was like, ooh, I don't really like that. And I will probably get used to it. It'll be fine. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, just give me some heads up before, so it's not so jarring. Evil Ringo says it's I'm tolerant with how bright and saturated it is. I'm just put off by how jerky and unsmooth the motion is. I agree. Also says it was okay with how it was on Beavis and Butthead, but that's the whole point of that show. It was always ugly. So I don't know about them not being on the same plane. I haven't really noticed that. But it does kind of bother me a little bit, the animation. But like I say, I'll get used to it. It'll be fine.
Well,
and we're there for the characters and the story more than anything.
I would also say it's more perfect. And I think that's what is jarring is with digital animation, you don't get all the nuance that you get in hand-drawn stuff.
That style of digital animation feels like it sucked the soul out of it to me.
Yeah. Well, if you go back and you watch a lot of King of the Hill in the early years,
yeah,
you could go and you could look, and you got to nitpick at it, but you could find on every single episode different things that when you send it all to South Korea, there's going to be some small flaws. And I feel like that is what is the most jarring part about not just the new revival itself, but I feel like in a lot of modern digital animation, there's some digital animation out there that used to like Chowder, the show Chowder.
Yeah.
The patterns on their shirts as they're moving across the dill, the patterns move too.
Yeah.
So it always used to like it would mess with my eyes.
But that's a choice they made.
But that's what I'm saying though is like all of these things and all these like design flaws and things that people might not like yet because we've only seen snippets is just I feel like right now people are looking and it's not everybody. It's just the haters on the internet. It's just the people that are chronically online. They find every little thing that you see about it to be negative about. At first,
Black Ant says also the first season, King of the Hill, has some ugly animation. It was kind of charming, but they figured it out slowly over time. That's true.
Yeah, all
That's
of them.
true.
If you look at The Simpsons for the first few, not even the first season, but the first few episodes, because they figured it out within season 1. They kind of polished it by the end of the season.
Artie says King of the Hill's animation is like dramatic TV shot on film after animated shows are like sitcoms shot on video, if that makes sense. That does kind of make sense, yeah.
It makes sense. But either way it goes.
We'll get used to it. And
I'm
fine.
not against it.
It's
I'm not
fine.
upset with it. I want to see it first before
just because I'm jarred by something doesn't mean I'm upset with it. It's just jarring to me because it's so different.
Yeah, it is. It is different. It's jarring.
Again,
it was
that's why
jarring
I
to
say,
me. Yeah,
give me a heads up, and I'm
sure.
okay.
It is a little. It's a little jarring for me too. But
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of
I'll
like
get jarred
that
by
it's not
something
the
else
same.
by the time I leave.
I kind of like that it's not the same. I'm gonna jar my back walking to the elevator. And then another thing is I think it's Disney that said it. It might be one of the major production houses for animation. They're gonna do a fully hand animated movie again.
Are they?
Well,
Good for them.
I think what's happening is
some of that Disney animation is pretty awful at this point.
well, that's the thing is a lot of the live action stuff's
zero
been
soul.
bombing out. A lot of they came out with
live action stuff is garbage. The live action stuff is garbage as far as I'm concerned. None of those CGI characters have a soul. They have dead eyes. They just
none of it's really
I hate
good.
it.
Yeah,
It's awful.
You could tell that
Ugh.
you could tell that somebody came up with the idea to do one and see what it did, and they saw the box office and how well it did, and it did good up until like Cinderella. I think Cinderella was the first one of them that tanked, and that's when they just backed out and stopped doing them altogether. And then I was reading somewhere where they were talking about they had just released a new IP and it tanked in theaters. It
Evil
didn't do very
Ringo
good.
says, as long as Hank still uses propane, I think I'll get used to the style. That's absolutely true. Luke
agree.
says, you are correct, Mike. I'm assuming you're talking about the Disney stuff. Artie says new viewers won't have context. They won't notice anything. You're right about that.
Season 1 had the animation behind Rugrats and As Told by Ginger and
Wild Thornberries.
the Wild Thornberries.
That's from Black Ant.
Not all of them, but some of them. I actually know the guy that worked on Wild Thornberries. So
Evil Ringo also said hand animated. Here's hoping that gains traction and starts a revival. I agree, and I think we may see some of that. And the only thing that changes these things is money, right? If they start losing money, they'll try something else. If they make money at that, they'll keep doing more of that. That's really all it is. King of the Hill newest season doesn't use rigged as said by yeah, they're not rigged. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, they don't use the same kind of thing. But anyway, again, it's one of the jarring things. It took me out of it at first. I will get used to it. It will be fine. It's all about the writing. It's all about the characters. It's about the situations. It's about the heart, honestly. That's what it'll come down to. So.
Oh, here you go. It's called Gato. A
Cat.
new film from Enrico Casarosa.
Okay.
It's going to be hand painted like Cell.
Is it Disney or is it Pixar?
No, it's Pixar.
Okay.
So, despite the box office success of Inside Out 2, since we're talking about animation styles,
Inside Out 2.
It says, since the box office success of Inside Out 2, Pixar has been in a creative slump for over a decade. Their last wildly acclaimed film was Inside Out, and that came out in 2015.
Yep.
Damn, man, time flies. That's actually a good movie. I actually like those Inside Out movies. Soul came out in 2020, and it went straight to Disney Plus during the pandemic and didn't get the spotlight it deserved.
I stopped watching Pixar and stuff like that. I don't know why. I kind of lost interest for some reason.
I got really young ones, so I've seen.
Artie says, as usual, the dialogue will carry the show. He's absolutely right about that.
It says here, the studio has just announced Gato, a new film from Luca, the movie Luca, the director of that movie. That's a pretty good movie, which has officially entered production. It won't be Pixar's usually glossy CGI. Instead, it will be the studio's. Actually, it's the studio's first ever hand-painted animated feature because they're the guys who revolutionized digitizing animation.
Sure.
So,
Black Ant says there's a movie called
DreamWorks.
Loving Vincent, which is entirely oil. Entirely oil painted in the style of Vincent Van Gogh. Oh, that'd be kind of cool, fun to watch.
yeah, that would be fun to watch.
There's a company out there called.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I don't remember what it is, but they do immersive experiences. They go from town to town and go to like museums and stuff and do these.
Imagine the sets and the because they're painted.
Absolutely.
They're all
the
painted, so
Van
you got
Gogh
to
stuff.
paint the clothes they're wearing.
But there's a company out there that you walk into basically a Van Gogh experience, right? Everything is like moving and done in that, and they do it in different artist styles. I've always wanted to go to one of those. I thought.
Oh,
that would be
okay,
really cool
that's
to
really
see.
cool that he had that because that is the first. It says the first fully painted animated feature film.
Huh. There you go.
It was
Good call,
funded
Black
through. It's a Polish film. It was funded through the Polish Film Institute and a Kickstarter campaign. First conceived as a 7-minute short in 2008. Loving Vincent was realized. It was a woman who is a painter realized.
I can't even imagine how long it would take to paint all the cells for a 7-minute movie.
Here you go.
I mean, just 7 minutes.
I got you right here for the whole
terrible.
movie. 65,000 frames is an oil painting on canvas using the same techniques as Van Gogh.
Well, like I said,
By a team of 125 artists. So they had 125 artists who were able to do an impression of his style.
Yeah.
And they did all 65,000.
I mean, when I was in art school, we had to do a short animation. Now this was again, 5,000 years ago, but we did a small animation. It was 30 seconds, I think, is what we ended up doing. Mine was called The Clown from Hell, and it was a robot dressed up like a clown who would shoot people, and you'd see their skeletons. Right? It was a stupid little thing or whatever, but we did hand-drawn cells, hand-painted cells. We did every single one of them. Place, shoot, place, shoot, place, shoot, over and over and over.
When I give
I
gifts,
wish I could find that cartoon somewhere. You would see how herky-jerky this thing is, and it's awful, but I really enjoyed doing it.
When I give gifts, I like to give like deeply relevant gifts.
Uh-huh.
For example, when I gave you a gift, I gave you the Letterman
you gave
comic,
me the X-Men with the Letterman.
the Letterman deal.
Yeah.
Well, one of the gifts that I give my old lady or whatever was a big Rugrats fan.
Uh-huh.
I went and looked on eBay for animation cells of Rugrats, and I found one of just Tommy sitting on the floor kind of thing, because she has like a keychain with Tommy on it. It was like a thing between her and her grandpa or whatever. So I ended up getting her cell animation. So there you go. If you want to buy cell animation for King of the Hill, there's King of the Hill stuff out there. Yeah,
my wife got me years back. She got me an actual copy of the Caddyshack script signed by several of the people that were in it, which is pretty fucking cool.
Oh, that is
honestly.
crazy. It's actually kind of expensive though, Mike. So there's a website if you guys want to go. Timeless Cell CEL.
Well, yeah, if you get to that
Gallery.
point where you're buying it from somebody who just does that, it's gonna be quite pricey.
$2,500 for the guys.
Well, it's kind of like buying a
four-layer
baseball card
production.
from a collector and a baseball card from a house that's been, it's all graded and put in
Mike,
plastic and all this stuff.
Once I get my new house, I want to build out like my own recording studio, and I think I might buy one of those
That's
one
cool.
of these days. That's my goal.
Black
I would
Ant
like
says he
one
has a
of them.
sketch of Hank used for posing on the show from season 13, episode Wamanos.
Oh yeah, if you go to eBay, there's a lot cheaper
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But it's all over eBay.
All right, guys, that will wrap it up for Friday.
That does it.
Do not fear. King of the Hill is almost here. The animation style will not deter us. We are here for it. You want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at BWAAA@koth.com.
So is that how you make an A? That's how you make an A? Yeah, and that's it. We will be back on Monday with another full episode, and I think there's just one thing left to say when we get to this point.
Weematan yay.
I'm in full agreement. Weematanya, indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.